times about how do you work me. I was very well conditioned. And at this level of boxing, even in the amateur level, sometimes conditioning wins fights, most of the time. You know, I mean, you can have all the talent in the world, but if you're an average fighter, you can beat a world champion out there if you're well conditioned.
Well, we were just talking about James Toney, who's going to be fighting Sam Peter here. I don't think there's anyone in the world that would argue that that James Toney isn't one of the most skilled fighters out there. Yet he comes in poorly conditioned, out of shape, and just like you say, it can mean all the difference, your conditioning.
Exactly, especially in a world championship fight. I mean, you get onto the 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 rounds, and you had very hard early rounds, you're just not going to make it. You know, you can spar as many rounds as you can. If you don't do your running and everything else you have to do, you won't make it the last few rounds.
Now, you had one loss here this year against Escalante. He's going to be fighting here coming up in a couple months here in Cicero. Would you like to get back in the ring and maybe avenge that loss, or would you like to go somewhere else and fight somebody else?
Well, actually, we've talked about it, and of course, they're trying to hype it up as he beat me and everything else, and I understand. I mean, he did beat me. Where I had longer time to train for him, there's no way he beat me. He's definitely not, and I repeat myself, he's definitely not a better fighter than I am. He was, well, like, when we come back to the we were just talking about conditioning. If you look at Escalante, he's a very well-conditioned fighter. Well, and his pace it's very tough to keep up with.
Well, that was a very close fight there, and as you said, he just barely squeaked that win out, so it would be a very good fight for you to have in a rematch.
We definitely will rematch. The only problem with the rematch is that he's a junior bantamweight. I struggled tremendously to come down to 124 pounds. I haven't been at 124 pounds since 1997 in the amateurs.
Oh, jeez.
So it was really tough for me to come down that weight. They gave me 6 weeks to train, and to drop that weight, it was very tough for me. Would I fight him? Yes, I would, but he's going to have to come up to 126 pounds.
Which might be difficult since he has the moral victory, so to speak, over you. He might have the stance of, well, if you want to fight me again, you got to come down to me.
Correct. You know.
So
it's funny.
Hopefully, we see that fight.
Well, hopefully, I'm willing to fight him anytime. You know, I think with more time and more preparation, he won't beat me. And I think they know that. That's why they want to bring me down the weight. But it's something that neither I or I need. You know, I think we both have very bright futures. He's a very good fighter. I'm a well-proven fighter now. I mean, it was my first test against the big names like Litzau. So we both have bright futures. So hopefully one day, you know, we can see each other again.
Yeah, well, that was your only loss since '98, so that's the only blemish on your record. So I could see where you'd want to avenge that loss. Yeah,
but Jose, you are the name now. Escalante's getting a little bit of press right now as you know, making his return to Cicero Stadium and whatnot. But me and Emil were there a couple of weeks ago in Cicero, and the second people realized that you were even in the stadium, the place went nuts. I mean, you signed autographs all night. You took photos with everyone. You are definitely a fan favorite between you and David Diaz. It was tough to get anywhere near either of you. So Chicago definitely loves you. Chicago loves Escalante as well. But you're going to have a little bit of an edge if that rematch ever was to happen.
Well, definitely. I think I'll have an edge, even if when we come down and we really look at the fight, he really didn't beat me because of skill. He beat me because of his conditioning.
Yeah.
And of course, me and David Diaz are a great name. Hopefully, me and David Diaz are great friends. So hopefully we can bring back to Chicago like the old days. There used to be huge fights in Chicago.
Oh, of course.
Huge world title fights before. I don't think why it shouldn't be like that now. You know, Chicago's a big city, big name. We should have great championship fights here.
Well, when you get some of these bigger fights, would you like to maybe bring an HBO or a Showtime over to the Chicago area to have some of those fights there in this area?
I couldn't look at it any other way. I mean, I was in Vegas and New York are a big mecca of boxing. I would love to fight in those cities, but definitely Chicago's my city, and me and as David Diaz we would love to have a huge card in Chicago, HBO or Showtime. This is our boxing life. All our fans are here, all of our families here. We would have to have a big show in Chicago.
Well, do you want to say anything about the closing of the Windy City Gym? That got a lot of ink, a lot of press lately, and that was actually our segment right before we called you to get you on the air for tonight. Was we were talking about the closing of the Windy City Gym and the impact that that's going to have on these smaller club shows. Do you have anything to say about that?
Well, I can definitely say that it's sad that such a great gym is finally closed. We all hate the fact that it's closed, but I really believe that the talent is still there. The talent is going to go with Sam, and Sam will continue training. So, unfortunately, the gym has to close, but we still have the same trainer, and the talent will always still be there. So hopefully we can find a new home for all of us. And hopefully we can continue that that stardom that we're looking for. Between me, David Diaz, Jermaine Sanders, there's so many great fighters in Chicago that really haven't gotten the opportunity. I just barely got my opportunity. David Diaz got his opportunity. So hopefully we can bring a bright future to Chicago.
I want to see Hernandez and Diaz as a double bill. I want to see that, and we're going to pack that house. We're going to pack any house that signs that event where both of you are fighting on the same night. The biggest card that outside of the HBO fight that we're going to talk about next year against Litzau, the biggest nights that I've seen you fight live was at the Aragon, where Oscar Bravo fought, Rudy Cisneros fought, Juan Lascano fought, and of course Jose Hernandez fought. That was a great night of fights. And those are the kinds of bills that I want to see again.
Correct. Like I said, there's so much talent here in Chicago that I don't see why we shouldn't have great fights like we've always had. And hopefully one day we can bring HBO, we can bring Showtime, we can bring with this great amount of talent that we have here in Chicago.
I'm seeing a lot of Telefutura in your future. I'm seeing a lot of Solo Boxeo, and now that you now after December 16th of this year with your stunning knockout over Jason Litzau, we're gonna see much bigger, better things from you. Take us back to December 16th. You knocked him down very early in the fight. Take us through that very first round. What was your game plan going into that fight with Jason Litzau? And how did you execute?
Well, actually, going into the first round, we knew our plan was we actually thought we were going to lose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th round of that fight. Okay, I say the first round he got caught, but we really didn't think we were going to win. We thought he would box me and run away from me, and that ring in there was enormous. I mean,
that was a very big ring.
Very big ring. So when we seen that ring for the first time, we said, "Oh no, we're going to have a tremendous amount of problems from him moving and boxing. Great boxer he is, but we knew we were going to struggle a little bit." So when we started the first round, we had to make him work. And I know it seemed like he was hurting me and he was punching me a lot, but unfortunately in boxing, sometimes you think you're winning, but you don't know what the other guy's doing. If you look at my fight, round by round, I got a little closer and closer to him. Why? Because I was pressuring him. That was our whole game plan, was to pressure him and eventually get him tired enough in the later rounds to stop him.
Well, so you give him a flash knockdown in the first round, and everyone, it was the first round, right?
Yeah. Yes, it was the first round, at the end of the first round.
Yes. And you said you were expecting to win at least the first 5, maybe as many as the first 7. With the exception of that knockdown, there are not many people that would argue you. I had you down by at least 5 rounds at the end of the 7th, to where I was scared for you. I'll tell you right now, and I don't believe I'm alone there, Jose.